which is a bummer. He's really cool, but it's also like crazy. Yeah, the reason going that far. Mm.
Yeah, I was thinking like, they're not they wouldn't make a move like this. I feel like I don't know. It just seems like all my life has just been like one crisis by another crisis by another crisis, like, and it keeps getting increasingly crazy. But I was thinking like, nah, they wouldn't even make this move to like kind of crack down in this way, or like to do these certain things without like multiple things in place. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was even when I was looking at videos of the Iran war online, it seemed like so much of it was AI.
Dude, that's a whole nother thing too. The AI of like,
Or it's like there's like this blurriness where you're like, I don't know, and
you
it's
just
like
can't trust it.
you can't trust it. And I think that's also part of the play where it's like now politicians can always go like, oh, that's not real, that's AI. Like, oh, there's all these, or they, how
The
they,
reverse of that, like where you were looking at if it is actual footage
ooh,
and you don't know, and they're like, "Well, this is real footage," and it ends up being AI.
100%. Like either way, yes, exactly. Or like what did they used to say? They used to say like, oh, like you can't listen to this dude. That guy's like some crazy kook online. Like, but now the new thing's gonna be like, oh, you can't like trust any video that you see. Like, how do you know if anything is real?
I think that's kind of what they want. It's ultimate chaos. Or I don't think. Well, maybe the ones behind the flowing panel right there. Get it.
So I don't know if they want. It's like I don't. I wonder what. Let me see what anarchy actually means, bro. Because I'd be like,
That is a hot turn. But
yeah.
I'll probably.
And it's like, but it's like to me, it's like very. I feel like what they do want is they want discord. Like they want disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because it distracts you if you're arguing with your neighbor and y'all are both being affected by whatever it is distracts you from what is actually affecting you and those causing it.
100%. Yeah. I was listening to this lady speak. I don't know her name, but she looked like she'd be the principal. Like, and she was talking about how like the stuff that's the most important is like kind of like the low key stuff that happens on the same days. So like she was saying the Congress passed like it's like I forget what it's called, but it's like they passed not like a bill, but it's like a declaration, and it was like Declaration 56 or something. And it was basically like, oh, this little thing allows us to like to go above the Constitution, above laws. It's almost like it was like a back channel way. It was something that happened on another day, like something crazy happened. Um, and then like this also happened on that same day, but this was way more consequential because it gives like Congress a lot more power. And like how there's a lot of things like that where it's like sometimes a distraction is just like, oh, a little law here, a little thing here, a little money moved here.
You're right, though. I mean,
Devil's in the details.
and then it's also one of those things, too, where you say it and, well, that's so obvious.
Yeah.
Why should we care? Or,
Hey, love, can I use your hotspot? Yes. Can I use your hotspot? Please.
and like in some ways, we were to say, we should pay attention here, like people really wouldn't.
It's true.
And also, so everything happens every single day. It's huh. Oh,
It's weird. It's being weird over there.
it's Luigi's Mansion.
I used to have that game.
Mm-hmm. There is a painting with the cover for it back in college.
And it's great because I was thinking about like what I always think about scripture and stuff. But huh? Yeah, I'm about to. And it's like the hypothesis, the whole hypothesis, or when Christ was like, be nice to your enemies, basically. And he's like, because it's easy to be nice to people that are like your countrymen. And it's crazy now because it's like, now it's not even really easy to be people that are your country. like cool with your countrymen.
Yeah.
You know, like
If I was thinking of just kind of on that note, just in the realm of like sensitivity to certain topics
you
or
know,
words that people have now, it seems like more than ever. Because at work the other day, someone was talking about how like there's no big comedies anymore. I was like, I mean, that's because comedy's like kind of daring, now like
Oh,
well, like some people get afraid to
right in
offend
front of the camera,
someone.
what camera?
right behind you.
Oh
Just so
shit!
you know.
This whole time,
Well, only for a millisecond.
that was for a few minutes. I was just standing there looking at this dresser. What?
But all that to say is like yeah, that whole idea of like being worried to like listen, being worried about that is in part to for along the lines of what you said about even your own countrymen now you feel I mean you feel like yeah, I do it.
That's what I was talking to my homie on the phone yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like some things you can't say on the phone because basically like the FBI or the CIA or whatever, they can use it against you."
That's
And
wild, yeah.
and I think that's a big reason why I started like wanting to record things because I'm like, nah, he's not wrong. Even a thicker like uh even larger layer than that is like the phone's always listening. Like whether you're on a call or not, like who's to know there's not going to be cases in the next like 10 years where the FBI is going to be like, well,
We said
we heard here, yeah. And but I was also thinking to myself like, well, we have the best advantage like when like we also share what we talk about rather than them being the only ones that know, like the quote unquote like your little special FBI agent are the only ones that know. It's like if they're gonna know, then everybody else should know. Like strength is in numbers, ultimately. And like if you're gonna be like daring and controversial, quote unquote. First of all, we shouldn't even be afraid of none of this. Like we shouldn't even be afraid to speak our minds.
yeah.
And that's what like like the whole comedy thing is like that's more like the external bit of it, but like on the internal sense where people don't want to make certain jokes anymore within their own circles. Cause they're like, damn, I don't want like I don't want to deal with the judgment.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'm just like, it's not that deep. Like this small little thing
Yeah.
that I said, it's not like I don't know, man. It's tricky because it's also all new to me too. So I'm like filtering it and processing it as it's kind of happening
Mm,
and evolving. And I'm like a tortoise, I move too slow.
not too slow, but you take your time.
Yeah, because like I guess my problem is overthinking. So I want to be like certain before I make the next move or say the next thing,
Mm,
where that's not always the case.
mm.
And so now I'm in a position where it's like, oh, dude, like maybe I just won't say anything, but that's arguably worse.
Nah, it's not. To me, there's like people in our day and age put a lot of emphasis on saying. Like saying is like very low. Like it's important, but it's not that important. Just doing is yeah, it's like yeah. You don't have to know like so I saw this thing, someone like one of these like silly Instagram posts where like you slide through and it's like different inspirational stuff.
Mhm.
And I think they're trying to say like something done imperfectly is better than nothing done perfectly. And it showed like two like ladders side by side, and it was like one with the like the ladder rungs were all like kind of slanted like 2x4s, but it went all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And then the other one had like three perfectly straight, perfectly sized, but it was only at the bottom.
Yeah.
And but with politics, it's like you kind of have a hunch, and you just kind of follow the hunch, and then you kind of see what unfolds because
I mean, the gut feeling is a real thing.
100%.
You're feeling something. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, people are saying I should do this or think this, but like, something feels off here.
Yeah, like to me, like, oh, and this is what I was telling my friend is I'm like, And what I was telling you last time, which was I was taking more of a confrontational approach. But like if we don't like the system we live in, then we need to have a very clear vision of like what the future is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what like life work is about essentially. It's like it's an organization, but it's a clear direction of what the future could look like. And then but I'm like, ultimately, like people can't pay taxes. Like people have to ultimately like there's always gonna be like an ace in the hole. Like they have like the enemy will always have a back in the plan and the ace in the hole. And they'll try to use our closest ally against us. Typically, that's how the enemy does the work. That's why it wants us to be so discontent with each other. But
When you say the enemy, who are you referring to?
well, I'm just saying like the
Or your perspective?
my perspective of the enemy is individuals. I don't know their names exactly. I mean, I can name some people, but individuals who like are run by darkness, by dark thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, so like,
Gotcha.
yeah, and yeah, it's like there's like, and it doesn't always come across as like some like demonic looking monster. Just it comes off also often very articulate.
Yeah. And enticing,
And enticing, very attractive. And it's like, but it's like that's why you have to have principles that stand above that assess the reality of things. Where it's like, okay, is this violent or is this not violent? Okay, boom, there you go. You start with that. Is if this act is violent, then we can't do it.
Well, and I think therein lies like, even though it's the first decider, therein lies like the ultimate quality. If you think about it, because I think that like some people who have like beliefs or like driven by their religion, where that triumphs over like whether or not I should show mercy, I guess, to this individual, or even if I don't agree with them, you know, it's like no, I just like constantly like like my beliefs say that you were scourged on the earth, so like just looking at, I mean, all the wars that are happening right now.
But it's like, wait, I'm like, which
Sure.
religion says that?
Well, I think multiple say that, you know, like you can look at the Crusades of Christianity and like conquering. I mean,
But I'm
you
like,
can look
what?
at it from like a non-religion perspective of like the Roman times when they had slaves and like, you know,
But you see, the irony is like, even in that sentence, it's like no religion has modern context.
well,
No,
all their religions are ancient, and they're not like, I don't. I guess the new religion is no religion, or like loving yourself.
but it's like any religious conflict in between people, like groups of people, doesn't make sense because the people that were addressed in the scriptures don't exist as they exist today. You know what I'm saying? Like just through history, and that's another thing that like I've been thinking wrestling with, where it's like, and also another very clear thing is like says that what religion says that the modern, you know, your modern government and the modern people that live in this place are the same as as the government and the people that we're referring to in the scriptures.
That's a good point.
It's like they're not. There's no way they are. That's
Yeah.
kind of the whole point.
And also, I mean, cultures can be influenced without ever having left that area. If you think about it, with the age of the internet,
Yeah.
like there's social media influencers all across the globe in different parts of the country too. It's like if you were to isolate that country, like what's its main religion? Buddhism, you know, Christianity, Islam, like there still would be those people within that are like absorbing and are impacted, and ultimately like, their mind is changed in some way
100%.
by what they're seeing online, like the kind of world.
100%. Like America's influence everywhere. Like there's this time when like, especially like pop culture. That's a great like way to put it. Where it's like, but that has probably happened so many times over. And I was like, even like take like the Ottoman Empire. the Ottoman Empire, which was where Israel is now today, which had Iraq, which had Saudi Arabia, which had like it was huge territory. It existed for 500 years, and it traded consistently with the West. Like it was a equal, it was an equal empire to the Western empires essentially,
Mm.
and it got a lot of taxation from travel to India, especially in the early days. So it's sort of like there's been like think about how much change has happened in the last 30 years in just this, like in just our little context. Like you can only imagine how much change might happen over 500 years, in some distant kingdom with all the different customs. Like,
Yeah.
like who are we to say? And I, so but the thing that's most difficult to me with like nonviolence or like ahimsa, which is it's really non-harming and always choosing the least amount of harm.
Yeah.
Say, um,
Because you can like break that down further. You have like violence, but within that can be like non-harmful violence. So it's like self-defense where you're doing grapples or rolls to like avoid an attacker in a way and like subdue someone where they don't have like a long-term injury, but you have them immobile. Right.
100%. It's every step of the way to me where it's like, and even when you do decide to kill someone, like for example, you do it in a way where you don't want them to be harmed. Like that's why it's like I love like our alpha predators or big cats. And how do they attack? They just go straight for the back.
They go for the back.
They go over there, they get their back, they take their leg, and that's it. And then it's like that's kind of why they're the really the teachers in that, where it's like,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, there's no waste in the natural world, and that is not a waste of energy in like trying to
100%.
do your prey. And there's no gratification really in torturing it. Like,
No, you shouldn't find gratification in torturing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like, but I do believe in like, like my vision is like, okay, you have towns. Each town has its own local militia, for lack of a better word. But really, it's just like from 14 to 18. I think for real, I think adult age is 25. Like to be completely honest, like if I had to write it all over again, it'd be like 25. But it's like from 15 to 25, it's just like almost an extracurricular activity for the guys. Like play paintball here. Like you play that team, you play this team. What would happen if you came over this mountain ridge or came through this valley, and how would we defend against that? Okay, now there's drones. Like that's how almost I feel like
learning to protect and
learn to protect this. You'd be so tough if like every single town, most of the men and women in the town not only knew how to get around the town, but also knew how to defend the town and be like, all right, like, and that's what would be so cool because it's like, all right,
time to the beat. Sorry, I didn't do it.
nah, you good. And it's like, okay, like we know that there's like just in life, we just know that there's that two modes where it's like you can be like relaxed, having fun, but then there's also like the time to lock in. It's like that people might want what you have. Like,
Yeah. Everyone is not pure part. I mean, yourself, right?
yeah,
At that point. And you're not entirely full, like, of absolute purity all.
exactly. And it would be just a more constructive way for folks to use their time. People switch teams. There's going to be beach, there's going to be all sorts of stuff, but it's like we do like paintball or like laser, and then it's just like, but to match the times. Okay, this country did this. All right, how come this country has this weapon or use this? How do we simulate that and defend ourselves against that? Like, it doesn't make sense that only a couple million people in our military know how to defend, and they don't even probably really know how to defend here.
It's got like worse and worse. Yeah. And you're just doing isolated dating probably training. I mean, I don't know.
No, and they're not training like they're not really training. Like they're training in like the woods in this one military base off to the side
For attack missions.
for attack
Not for
missions,
defense.
not for defense. Yeah, not for defending where they're at. So it's just not a productive way to. It's like that's my thing. Where it's like with like military industrial complex. If you're listening, this is my compromise. Where it's like, I think that this could be an industry that grows. Where it's like, I'm not even saying. Oh yeah,
I'm pulling that thought though.
definitely yeah. You felt
I'm saying it would be more productive if, you know, people spend their time doing this, and then you're saying a military industrial complex if you're listening.
like this is my compromise. It's like I'm not saying that. Like, okay, yeah, I do think like if you're not going to compromise and you guys are like, we're just gonna have to start killing dudes that oppose us. This is the compromise to not kill us. Is what I'm saying is build bases here. Doesn't make sense. Like X amount of bases that we have abroad, we're not really technically safer because we're not protecting like the king. Like we have to keep like us most heavily defended. And I'm like bases in a sense where it's like, okay, like each little community should have their own way to realistically defend themselves because at some point, at some day, like whether it's tomorrow or whether it's 500 years from now, like there is going to be some sort of force that's able to invade us. Like to think that you're never going to be invaded is just like it's not sensible. And I really think it should be a locality thing. Not like I mean, it can be states, but like really run through the locality and have it be a part of, if there is still going to be school, then have it be like the class where it's just called public defense. Yeah. And it's like, I don't, and then and then as technology arises, okay, industrial complex of like, this is how you guys want to make money. Then it's like, okay, we can do simulations. We can do simulation weapons. You don't have to you don't have to spend all your money on killing. But you could still make money on defense. Yeah. And like the reality where we have like the little stun thing, like the stun bullets and all that kind of stuff, like you could be racing towards that. As stuff like that's non-lethal. But
I mean, yeah, dude, I don't disagree that that's a better way, but I definitely can see the reality of like there's just so many holes in that of the individual opportunists getting into those, dark forces of like the war machine, I guess, using this example,
yeah,
being abroad rather than at home more so is that when they're abroad, there's a return on investment. So it's think of like, okay, we conquered this land, we also have access to the resources here, or what have you, or like can set up a base of operations or make a treaty to where they produce this for us, like the Venezuelan thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here, it's like, while that may lead to a safer, richer like environment and healthier mental state, I feel like, I guess, with having the bases and like the individual is more empowered in a way, it still is a harder ball to pitch, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's more intrinsic value, where it could definitely and should be above, just going over here to get a finite amount of resources. But that's not like immediate. Where
it seems like it, but it's like, it's like you can get more, I think, this just came to mind. I don't know if there's already a saying somewhere, but it's like you can get more through friendliness than force.
Yeah, it makes me think of that book that I never read, but have been told about how to
what friends and influence people.
Yeah, it's funny because my like old creative director Zan, who actually was the one who put me in touch with Fruition. Yeah, super chill dude. He's around your age, but he moved back to Utah. He used to always talk about that and had like a super warming thank you. Yeah, like the one just always good vibe. Skater, bro,
Yeah, skaters. I'm telling you, there's people I also like longboarding, as you know. Longboarding too. It's like this is like a chillness. Like, come on now.
Yeah. But I don't know, Quincy. I mean,
it's true because think of it this way. It's like people don't like when you occupy them. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. No.
So when you occupy them, they're withholding things from you and they're working against you. Like, I think that gets lost in the whole vision. Like I think a lot of people visualize the world in a certain way. They're like, okay, I'm forcing these people to do this for me, da 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 da. But when you look under the surface, you see like, oh nah, it's really not operating that well. But if someone's friendly towards you, not only are they gonna do it for you, they're gonna do it more efficiently. And like, so we're not winning. We're not winning friends by having bases, so many bases abroad,
Right.
because we could just be like, bro, we're your friends. Like, we actually want to encourage you to be able to defend yourself, because we're stronger when you can defend yourself. And like, we have no beef. Like, you don't want any of our land, we don't want any of your land. Like, we're good. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that doesn't mean that we have to. We can like figure things out because we're friends. But I think that sometimes they're like, they've used friends. They've like abused the word friends. They say ally like it's friend, but ally and friend, they don't mean the same thing anymore.
Ally just means like we both have something the other wants, but we're not gonna.
They're almost like,
Yeah.
and they're almost like, like the way they use the word ally is they're like, look, whatever that our ally wants, we want to.
Mhm.
Like, that's not allyship.
You look at real examples of it. I mean, here's I thought
You know?
what Israel was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and Marco Rubio literally said, he was like, look, we had to attack Iran because Israel told us that when they attacked Iran, when Israel attacks Iran, that Iran's going to also attack America and catch us off guard.
And we conveniently had ships floating behind the Israeli, so we could get like
Yeah.
if they missed.
Yeah, they
shot
missed. Yeah,
it, it's
they
like,
missed.
oh, they hit us. It's brutality.
So they were like, so then Israel was like, look, we're going to attack them anyways. So when they attack us, if you haven't attacked them too, then we're going to be in a worse position. But if you attack them, take out some of their stuff,
Yeah.
right, you have more fighting chance. And I'm like,
I don't know, man.
that's not what your friend would say to you. Your friend would say to you, hey, look, I want to hurt this guy, but I know that if I hurt this guy, he's going to hurt you. And I don't think it's worth that.
Yeah. Because now, like, from my perspective, it's like you're saying if you did the opposite of like what's you're saying you won't get hurt.
Yeah, you want me to get hurt?
Care if I get hurt? Like,
You know, you're saying like, either way, I'm going to get hurt.
yeah.
and and it's like, and they also say this thing too, where they're like, look, I'm just feeling like with some political stuff, like,
Yeah.
because I'll be thinking about it. I'll be thinking about it. Yeah. So, and I listen to all the different opinions. Like, listen to Dave Smith, he's very like anarchist. Those in the New York Times, he's very polished, and like they're giving the tape. They'll say this thing where they'll go, hey, look, Iran said death to America, death to Israel. And since they say that, like, therefore, they all agree that they want to destroy us all. And also, at the same time, they don't have nuclear weapons. And they go negotiate against nuclear weapons. So the weapon that they would need to annihilate Americans or whatever, but they've been saying it for all this time, but they haven't developed it, right? Okay. So a lot of people hear that are like, I would say like more in the violent class. They go, hey, look, they want to kill us.
We have to kill them first.
So we have to kill them first.
Yeah.
And if we don't kill them first, then like the hypothetical that's unprovable is that they would have killed all of us. You already got us. But also at the same time, remember that their regime is weak. You remember this. Remember this. They're also very weak and very small and at their weakest ever. And this is the right time to strike. But also remember, we already destroyed their nuclear. Last summer, we destroyed all their nuclear capacity.
Oh, yeah, they did say that. Yeah.
So a lot of people talk about all these kind of things. And like what I've been like focusing on, like the perspective I have on it is like, what happened was, that you see the history. After World War I and II, Britain had control of all this land because Britain has always wanted control of this land.
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
The idea of the king.
And he was like, look, he's the king. Yeah. The king was like, all right, they're like, look, we just put in monarchies. We have monarchies. We put in people that are loyal to us, that we put in our allies. We put in our allies and we bring them in. So in the 1950s, Britain essentially elected a monarchy to rule in this region. And it was Britain, America, and Israel's ally, obviously. That's how it worked. Because remember, Harry Truman created Israel. So he says...
Was that the Abraham Accords? Was that?
No, the Abraham Accords was more recently. But in 1948...
I thought there was an older version of... See, this is where I get lost on this.
So I'll just give it to you real quick. There's a video online of Harry Truman, and he's basically saying, like, the formation of Israel. And he's like, the Muslims didn't want the Jews to have any of it. The Jews wanted all of it. So he said, even at the time it was created, there was no agreement.
Yeah.
And he goes, but the Congress said I could. So, and I did what I thought was best. So I basically split it between them. Even though he gave like the Zionists more percentage, like 54%. But that was how it started. So it wasn't even
There's already people living there too that like...
Yeah, they got kicked out. Yeah. But after that, he was like, he's admitting that the American president is the one that founded that country. And we were the first country to recognize them as a country.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, Israel and America are so interconnected, is because America essentially started it. So it is like our 51st state. It's another way to look at it. And then on top of that, it's like the easternmost base for like the allies, right? Like the Western powers and the allies against like the USSR. So
it becomes a base of operations.
Yeah, especially against the Soviets. Yeah. And that's why they're special agents. That's why they're like, their services are so tough.
Dude, it's such a crazy like web of complexity. It's just unfolding in front of us. It's been going on for years. I remember one of like me and David's friends, Diego, who's vehemently against like Israel and Netanyahu, was telling us about one of their like written statutes or plans. It's called like the Samson Plan, I think, which they're basically saying like, if any of our allies turn against us or like conspire against us and attack us, or we see an attack coming, then we'll just like essentially destroy everything of nuclear power.
Wow.
Which is crazy because it's like the story of Samson in the Bible, before he destroyed the whole temple to the strength when he got blinded. But it's like, it's crazy, one, that you have that stated that this is... I mean, I didn't like check up on this, so I miscalculate some things with the out there, but as a disclaimer. But then also you throw in the idea of something you mentioned earlier, the preemptive strike idea, which are like, to me, deem preemptive strikes as like just or whatever.
Yeah.
If they have enough evidence, which...
And they make up the evidence. That's the main thing, is like, their evidence is faulty. And I think the difference between now and all the other wars is that there was COVID. And I think like I don't think they underestimated how much people don't trust them because of COVID and how that whole thing went down. And then like, the depths that it went through, and it's like, they just say things like for example, they're like, Iran killed 30,000 protesters in like 2 weeks. And Israel like almost did the same amount of numbers in 2 years. And you're like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah, that is another thing, because you see crazy stats for like the deaths of Gaza.
Yeah.
It's like one side, like you said, reporting one number, and the other side reporting a completely...
And we don't even get to see, it's like, they'll do this thing where it's like, they'll report the other side's number, and then they'll say, well, you can't trust that number.
Or throw an AI in the mix.
There you go.
It's like, is this an actual real video?
Is this actually real? Exactly.
Fake real.
And it's like, it's like they don't have to do real false flags attacks. They can just do completely automated false flags.
And then it's also under the guise of urgency. So if it wasn't such like a serious topic as life and death, it would be like, okay, maybe we can check these numbers. But no, it's like, I mean, kind of have to... Is it worse to publish them as him beating one and then check him in the back end? Like, does that just escalate things further?
I mean, that's a good point. And the main problem with like Gaza, for example, is they don't let reporters in, and they kill a lot of reporters. So it's like you can't even double check or triple check whatever's going on.
Yeah.
You only have to have like whistleblowers, and so I mean, but back to like the depth of every real things, like it's more of a metaphorical sense where it's like this force that keeps taking, like it keeps wanting to carve up all these empires. Like that is Britain's history for sure. And it's like it was founded by Britain, Israel. Like the way Israel started was in 1917. There was a Balfour Declaration with Britain, which has always had this political agenda. So like there's a political agenda by the king, but then there's also like the spiritual, the religious like layering on top of it, where there's a claim to the homeland. And it doesn't make sense because how are people that are there not descendants?
Yeah.
Of
Abraham.
Yeah.
From his archaeological perspective.
Yeah, like, come on now. And it's like, you guys like,
You mean Jews white?
what? Yeah, hell no. That's not, you're from, like, some of these people are from, like, Northern Europe.
You know what's so funny? There's interviews. I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's interviews of like, you know, people that are of Philistine descent and talking with like a settler and be like, you know, we're like, how are you more entitled to this land when I can take my lineage back 8 grandfathers ago or 12 grandfathers ago and they still are here? When where was your father born? I'm good. Where was your father born? Not Philistine. And then your great grandfather or your grandfather and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it's all European.
Of course. The Holocaust happened like this. It was in Europe. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this. It was a huge
They came somewhere else and look, we're bad.
But you got to go back further than that to Egypt.
I know. And even centuries and centuries, like literally thousands of years.
But it's just like, it's just identification with the body that is causing all this.
Identification with the body.
Yeah.
Just like,
You're like, okay,
it's only 20%, guys. Percent's up here.
yeah, it's just not the way. So they keep saying it like, hey, the Iranians are evil and they want to kill us. It's like, no, stop trying to conquer everywhere. People don't like this. I don't know if you noticed. And I'm like, this is Persia. Like these are like the ancient cultures now that
I mean, that's essentially what Persia did, you know.
over and over again.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Armies,
Vast armies, vast support,
elephants.
They're sort of like the pinnacle of like, yeah,
Military might.
yeah, literally a military might. And it's like, why you just, it's not necessary. You can stop now. We can stop.
But you're forgetting a key factor.
Yeah.
A key ingredient.
Yeah, those ingredient.
Delusions, bro.
Delusion.
Like, because
There you go. Delusions.
King Xerxes, who was a delusional, like, he called himself the God King.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not a Messiah, you know, I'm a God. So I'm meant to rule and conquer, take over.
I mean, that's how we speak. It's like, hey, our God is democracy and liberal rights. And like, our God says that we need to rule the world. So, and that's like literally that's how they approach life. Capitalism, liberal democracy, international order,
Whiteism.
whiteism.
That was a strong one. Why? Why?
And I'm just like, come on now.
You sound very lost. Isn't it?
And it's like, come on.
I mean, it is interesting when you bring up just identification, the body. Just how that plays into everything. That it's from just a beauty and attraction to who you think is intelligent or not, or like,
Yeah.
putting tears to humanity and we're all like the same.
Yeah.
Being races.
We're all the
And
same.
then you throw aliens in there.
I just know
Sorry.
them were a joke. They're
Yeah.
probably looking down at us like, Puts in another destination for another planet.
Oh, keep driving.
Yeah, don't stop.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and then I guess looking at that more on the micro scale, like where I kind of asked last time, like how would you prevent the opportunists? Because I feel like in some ways it would be inevitable. You know, like someone could become that, like, and you just think of ancient cultures going to a new. I mean, yeah, like that's a great example. Or you go to a new land with a small group of people that's undiscovered, and you start like building a society there, and then there is the inner conflict.
Look, here's the thing. I'm a warrior, though. That's the thing. It's like, so I expect that. Like, that doesn't bother me. It's like, it's almost like, have I got to a place and it's like, all right, like, part of the chess match.
He loves me.
There's always an
Literally fuels
always an opponent.
That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so glad.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
so
not the
glad.
one. He's not the one, but he is the one. At the same time.
That's part of like my thing is like, I'm so glad that God made that a part of the plan, because that really helps. And it's like, because what I'm saying is, it's like, okay, here's the thing. I'll put it this way. It reflects how I feel on the inside, where it's like, there are no seconds off. I have no seconds off. I always have to be paying attention to my thoughts. I always have to try.
Yeah.
And even when I'm slipping, I have to have consequences for myself, or I have to accept the consequences that come, like, for that. So it's like, if someone comes, it's either because I practice selfishness, or there's selfishness in our organization that manifests through a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as we root it out within ourselves, so we'll be able to see it more clearly. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, all of my warmongering things is like, as you become less violent, things become more and more things shift into the violent category.
Right.
And
I mean, like with life word in particular, like I don't see it. Like I don't really see like the likelihood is definitely less.
no, but that's why that's why I have advisors and gurus.
Well, yeah, because of the mindfulness, like at its roots, you know, of like this is who I am as a person, and this is like what I feel passionately about, not because I'm after it to like get money and be able to have that material success. Because I like have an even head of like material needs, you know, I'm not like I'll need excess. And then also just what you've talked about with like just the idea of war and I guess living under a government that constantly taxes you, raises taxes, and then just, you know, your day to day, like you said, practicing that discipline, that mindfulness of like keeping the thoughts at bay. Because when you forget to even be conscious, it's like it becomes easy to let them just be there. Right? Like
Just let yourself once you don't pay attention.
It's like the thing is like, yeah, I agree, and that's why it's like I have to be the boss. That's kind of how I look at it. Where it's like it has to be where I have to be the one that decides, like, okay, I'm responsible for if this person fails.
you have to be the monarchy.
100%. Yeah, it's like I'm not very, like, in a way I'm democratic, but I'm also anarchist, because I think God naturally sorts us. And it's like, if me being the boss is okay with you, that's A, check. And then B, it's like, but like that is a very complex word in of itself. Like I have a very different leadership style than others and stuff like that. So
it's time to lead by like example.
But yeah, example and camaraderie and like peacefulness, like those are my kind of things, and like fun, like
you through nonviolence in a way, because you have those other type of bosses where it's like you're afraid of getting fired.
Fear is their main tactic.
Yeah,
and you can see how fearful they get, and so it's like, yeah, it's like, so it's like I have to be the one that is held accountable for people's actions, and with that responsibility, because that's a reflection of how I really think on the inside. Like it's hard to describe, but like this is what I'm trying to share with you. It's like I would say like probably 90% of the breaths I take, I have a mantra to. Whereas like it's like a lot of the time, and it's like even when I'm not, like, it's like I practice automatically is what I'm trying to say. Like I have to, and then it's like I'll be on my phone, and it's like I'll be on my phone, and I'll still see 52, and like 52 reminds me to be conscious, Or it's like, even when I'm seeing baddies, it's still a part of the practice.
Mm.
Like, that's how I look at life now.
That isn't that part practice. Never.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, just,
Mhm.
but it is.
It's like I mean, it's
It is.
it's like life sending you a test of like
Exactly.
It's always
remember.
remember. And it's like, bro, there's times, and it's also like, I'm not attached to the outcome where it's like, I just kind of have like a direction of what I want to go in. But like, so all I'm trying to say is like, this is the culture that I'm establishing. And another,
Hey, Marcus. Hey, those are neighbors. Calm down.
stop,
That's enough.
please.
There's one coming.
So another thing is that like,
That was enough.
I
That
don't
one was
really-
unnecessary. Stop it.
I'm not the type of person that really likes that many people that well.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was usually the type of person, especially like at work, where it's like, I'm not talking to you. like we can talk while we're working, kind of, but that's like what you're gonna get. Like, I'm not there early to talk. I'm not like staying late to have a conversation ever. And like, usually I'm very selective about the people that I'm around naturally. So it's like, I know that a lot of people, they might be like persuaded or like whatever. And another thing about me is that like Safa also likes even less people than me. So like Safa really does. So she'd be like, so it's like, we're very more on the side of like, okay, we might be selling ourselves short and not be opening ourselves up to some relationships that maybe will be beneficial. But I genuinely, I'm telling you because you're my friend. It's like, the main problem will be me. Like, that's like how you need to look at this. Where it's like, if I'm not disciplined, like, if I'm not disciplined and you see me undisciplined, then you need to be like, all right, next time, like tomorrow, we're being disciplined again, because it's like, that's like how I'll be able to walk a straight line and we'll all get there faster. Whoever. And
Yeah, I mean, your level of discernment is high.
yes,
Yeah. Like, he has, like, almost like an X-ray vision of some sort to be like,
It's the gut
No.
feeling.
yeah. And that comes with that mindfulness. Like, your intuition is super strong and clear, and so is your discernment, you know, like, so you can very much feel when something is not in alignment and something is off,
Yeah.
and, you know,
It's important to
allows
notice
you
that.
to, stay straight.
It's a good point. I mean, that's also something too I respect about like the onus is on you, kind of, the like,
Mhm.
I mean, you use the life word example. If this selfish person like manifests here, it's because of either A, something that like either selfishness in me or someone in the organization, which would still reflect on you as the leader, or even just like the day-to-day person of like being disciplined one day, and then if you have a day that's undisciplined, you're like, all right, I need to like get back on track immediately. And also the underlying urgency of the mindfulness, I guess, that I don't know how.
No, nigga. I'm like, if there is fear in me, it's the fear of that, where it's like, if I don't give myself a consequence for doing something that I know is wrong, and a consequence isn't like crazy, it's like a practice. Okay, I would usually do meditation for this long. Okay, I gotta do an extra this. I have to like put in extra effort.
It's the Rock Lee.
Yes, the Rock Lee, literally.
Shit.
And it's like, all
I
right,
can't do 1,000 kicks. I'll do 1,000 squats.
literally. And then so if I don't do that, then I'm gonna get cussed out, or I'm gonna like tweak something, or like Kimber's gonna have a problem or something.
It'll manifest physically.
It'll manifest physically. If I don't do it myself.
That's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
shit, that struck the chord with just like my car shit, you know? I'm like, man, how it took me, I had been here in 2023, bro. And I had to get new tires and still was riding on a spare. Literally no reason other than procrastination. And now quite literally showed I'm too irresponsible to have a vehicle.
They do like that.
But
It'd be cool.
I'm
That's right.
fine with that. I've accepted. I'm like, all right, here's the consequences.
Yeah.
There's also like a payout, so you're not like, you know, you can use this disciplined mind and like awareness to wake up and be like, all right, stop procrastinating with like everything else in life. You know?
100%.
It's not always directly translated either. You know what I mean? Like, say, I'm not going on daily walks, so therefore something in the world of health, wealth, and like
Yeah.
working out. No, it's going in like being another way where, you won't have food for the dogs or
Mm.
tough peas in the house or something like very, you know, unrelated to the thing that you probably like dropped the ball on.
Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
so it may have been not like it might have been another thing to procrastinate on yourself and your art is what I think. And then your car.
Yeah.
And your car's already something that you didn't want to deal with anyway. You know what I mean? So you're like,
I got parked it. Oh, I got another ticket.
yeah, he's like, I have some bullshit that goes in my head. That's so funny.
That's a great point stop with it.
Yeah, I mean, during that time is when Quentin and you were really kind of like pushing him onto your art in many ways where, go through your journals or you're making more stickers, making more prints, and like, this is the way you should be making a living.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like to be very holistic of all of the actions that you're taking.
It goes back to the mindfulness that you mentioned.
Yeah, but very like, and honestly, hold yourself accountable for the bullshit that you do, and not like you can't. So like you giving yourself consequences is very important because like you can't be off the hook all the time. If you,
Such a good one. You off the hook, there's a loop.
all the time. Like you can have some moments where like, whatever, you're free, but to be just all willy-nilly, like that's not realistic in life, period.
Mm-hmm.
So you holding yourself accountable, I think is important to know where you could be feeding, different parts of your practices more or, parts that you aren't feeding enough kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
be real with yourself. Like, I haven't been going to class for the past, like, week and a half. And as a result of that, I feel like, I haven't wanted to go outside and I'm smoking a little more and just, like, those things that, like, it was one small thing. Domino effect of, like, if I allow the slip to continue, then the habits that like took so long to form they're easier to crash. You know what I mean? Like you could lose it in a heartbeat and have to work twice as hard to get back on track. You know what I mean?
Just even where you were.
Yeah, just even where you were, because now you've gone down the hill and then you have to get up the hill and then get back to where you were before you dropped. So, I don't know if it makes sense. But
Excellent analogy.
yeah.
One of the obstacles in the past is slipping from ground the game. I gotta find my yoga sutras. I can't find it.
We'll find it.
And you don't know what the ground ahead of you is going to be like. Like some could be less stable than others.
100%.
And that's where you like either A, catch yourself and react immediately to the problem.
Yeah, what could that be?
That's right.
Yeah. So holding yourself accountable is important to be.
It's nice.
It's interesting too because that's like, well, I don't know what y'all think. Is it something that's taught in like the system?
What?
Accountability?
Hell no. What?
Well,
because I mean, I guess you have like school, so like if you don't do your homework,
nah, bro.
Not always,
but not sitting down and being like, you need to be accountable. Like, I guess you have to.
No, so can I say my like awakening moment with that?
Yeah.
It was in school, but it was only like my junior year. When it was in anatomy, my teacher was just like,
Is this in college or high school?
And he was just like, how well you do in this class is entirely up to you. Like, I won't throw you any trick questions. It's like either you know what the bicep is attached to and what it does, or you don't. Like no tricks. And it was like that was so clear to me. To where it was like, okay, really directly, like how well I do is entirely up to me. And that, for whatever reason, resonated with the rest of my life because I started my lawn care company business. So, and I was like the founder, so it was like, okay, if I don't get the flyers out, if I don't like smile and say cheese and like present myself well and do all these things, like I'm the one that everybody talks to. And then when Yeah, and then, like, even martial arts, I think they teach it. But I think in school, in a more broad sense, if you don't, like, kinda, like school will have trick questions in there. It's a lot of other classes, or they have all these things where it's
Or
like
it's like you can scapegoat in a way.
yeah,
Be like, oh well, the teacher didn't like me because like I was
100%.
late or whatever.
100%. There can be multiple reasons why in other areas but it's not teaching real accountability, like
It's not like teaching the accountability that's linked to discipline
yeah.
in a way.
Unless you play sport. I think the only way you can really get that is to play in a sport.
I was gonna say sport or at home, however your parents
Yeah,
raised you.
Yeah.
My household didn't even know how to spell it, didn't know how to use it in a sentence. Really didn't exist. We're two Geminis. Hell no. They both going like this. They both all of a sudden like Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder trying to find each other.
Look at this, but this.
You know what I mean? It's nowhere.
No.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that would be a guarantee is like in sports. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I've seen so many like different examples of you're late and you know, or you come not dressed and the whole team suffers.
Yeah. That's the
You know what I
worst one.
mean? And that is the most like you clock in quick when that happens because that becomes what 1 versus 20 something. Yeah.
It's A to B, you know. There's
Yeah.
no
Yes.
alphabet in between.
Exactly. It's just that to that. There's the and it you know simpler from the thing about it for me is for every action there's a reaction. When you think of it that way, it like it allows a connection to everything that you do
Yeah.
to be more like present.
More intentional too.
Yeah, when I do this, what is what is going to be the reaction to this? Because every move you make is an action.
Yeah.
And the things that you have to deal with, I would say, are reactions. Or kind of like, you know, vice versa too, because of a behavior now you're like doing something you shouldn't be. So I guess it can go both ways. But really to be like there's an A to B. You know what I mean? This happened, therefore this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like there's no confusion. There's no skips, commas, none of that. It's right there. So yeah, sports really does do that.
It kind of helps to gamify it too, at least for
Yeah.
me. Like where I'm like, I guess I can use trading as a personal example of just looking at how I'm doing now or like this past month to where I first started. When I first started, it was more like I had more passion and energy and was spending more time, you know, reading about it, investing, like talking to my friend Caleb about it. And then now it's almost underlying like not a chore, but like I either yeah, or like I'll look at it like, okay, I have to go in here and make money today, or like I gotta get up at a little earlier, check the markets. And so as I look at it that way, it reflects in how well I do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Or like I guess with martial arts,
no, you're right.
gamifying it, or it's like a chess match, like we always say,
Yeah.
and just remembering that helps me be like, okay, yeah, like I don't feel like doing it, so not a reason to not do it.
100%.
Yes.
Not feeling is like one of the enemy's favorite moves.
Yeah. That was what ruled my house. If you don't feel like you ain't gonna do it, so okay.
My mom never cared about it.
Feel like it.
Yeah. If I changed my mind all of a sudden, that was not a problem.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, my mom was always, and this is what really helped me too, I think, is like she would always say, you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do.
Mhm.
And it's like that like is like been evolving over the years. So it's like, okay, no.
That's such great advice.
Because what I want to do isn't always the action itself, it's the state that I'm in. Like I want to feel happy while doing it. So like, no matter what it is. Doing it doesn't really matter as long as I'm happy, really. That's the thing that matters.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and then it's like, okay, I'm accountable for my happiness.
Mm.
It's like, all right, what are the things that make me happy? All right, good, I have to do those things.
Yeah, you can decide.
Yeah.
Mental safety money. It's a decision. It absolutely is a decision.
But it's like, you can't be like, all right, I'm happy, but your actions end up doing, like, your actions do have to align. Like, yeah, nothing matters. You can make yourself happy in any situation, but like when you're always happy, it'll attract the things that make you happy.
You know? Also, being just aware you can change your mental state. It just takes work in a situation, or you can be, hey, like, I have to do this thing. I can either be like in a bad mood and be griping about it, fuck this, if I get to the parties, but all right, if I do this, like, oh, this is a comical aspect of it, you know, I'm like, whatever.
Gives you all the
And then you end it, and it's more satisfying, and then,
yeah.
like, I don't know, you can do something that you truly enjoy more, or whatever. But I remember the first time, I guess I was younger, learning about kind of what you said your mom said, of like, you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. When I first started getting homework, I guess, you know, I was around like 10 years old. Whatever. But my friend Matthew had just moved in across the street, and we're becoming good friends and stuff.
Yeah.
My mom told me, she was like, all right, you have homework to do, so you can either do it now and then go play with Matt, or you can go play with Matt for a little bit and go, but you still have to do it later. And so she kind of made it my decision, and I was like, you can't do it now. So I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. You can take it as long as you want.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's important to learn.
That's life.
That's help, and it's taught in the household too. Growing it.
I think it's a hard like undo when you're older, because you just spent your youth with this, philosophy, and
Yeah, once life hits, it's like
you're old, and trying to change that. It's
I've been waiting for so long.
yeah, it's been like you get the realization of like, huh.
It also helps you like want to do the things that you have to do, because you're like, in order for me to even do things I want to do, I have to do this, so I might as well want to do this too.
Yeah, the delayed gratification. Wow.
That was perfectly cute.
So, yeah. Back to Iran.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been so
No,
excited. I try to stay on track, bro.
No,
so
that's
many
good.
No, that
goals.
makes a beautiful conversation. What was it?
Yeah, so I think I said it before, where it's like we already decided they were our enemies. Like, in that sense, they're Britain's enemy, they're our enemy, they're Israel's enemy, they're our enemy. But it's like we don't have to look at the world like that.
I don't know. I love the way that like all the stories start where they pick the stories to start. Like, for example, they just randomly out of nowhere said that to America and that this, but I don't know why they would say that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Did you hear what they just said randomly?
Out of the blue.
I'm going to kick their ass. Like, there are so many befores
Yeah, literally.
that
History
happened
just started.
that led to nobody in the entire world fucking with you. You know what I
Literally.
mean? Like, can you believe them?
Can you believe they don't like us? No, like,
And that gives them more of a reason not to like us.
and I remember.
I'll show you.
Literally. Oh my goodness. Because they don't know what's up anymore.
They're just such idiots.
They're trying to like show.
I
us
honestly think it's what Lockhart was saying, where it was like delusion. Like, it's a level of delusion that you are now living in, and you're able to convince yourself that things are true when they're not true. Because there's no other way that if anybody in their right mind is seeing that what is happening and has been happening for the past, few decades, it doesn't add up. Like, there's confusion of why your decisions made this way. And people that are in charge really live in a dystopian world. Like, they are so disconnected from reality. Like, think about it. You start to this is like also a condition that people like are diagnosed with, where you lie so much that you then start to convince yourself of a reality that does not exist. That's a real thing.
It's true, yeah.
So when you only have 7 up there, just throwing a random number, it has to be a low ass number.
Yeah.
Because we can't have that many people delusional
like that,
and be in charge.
Yeah.
And there are the psych evaluations.
Yeah.
Why is that not mandatory? You know what I mean? fucking insane.
I remember-
Like, did you lie in the last 24 hours? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's straight delusion. Because then you can convince yourself of like there's this clip of Irani Prime Minister talking to some news. I don't know. But guy and girl, guy asks the Prime Minister is like, so, you know, so you can confirm that you don't have any missiles, any just weapons that could reach America, and that is not your intention to strike America. He's like, yeah, I can confirm that. And then, without skipping a beat, the lady goes, so then why would you bomb? And why would you make the move of bombing all the other places that you bombed within the region, how they bombed the embassies and all the other other nations? And he's like, because they bombed us. They attacked us. And he was so slick. He said, we have the right to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just
attack someone and be like, why are you fighting back?
Why would you retaliate?
Stop resisting arrest.
Stop.
Stop resisting arrest. Stop resisting. It's like,
they're not
Iranian
people are so prideful and they're so
come on.
You gotta be fucked up constantly, attitude. They're not the ones that nobody backs down. Nobody backs down. But yeah, to attack somebody and then when they retaliate, be like, see this, I told you. Exactly. This is exactly what they were gonna do.
That's crazy.
Missing the first part.
And it's skimming it.
Wait, you missed something.
You fully you bombed a little girl's school.
I remember they attacked them in the first place because they're like, hey, look, Hamas, through you somehow, attacked us. So it's actually your fault.
Comedy show.
And we're attacking Lebanon and Yemen also. Because of you.
Striked.
We're attacking Iraq because of you. We're just, and it's like, well, of course the persons aren't going to be comfortable with, like I was telling Walker before, it's like this Eastern base for the allies, like for NATO basically, where it's like, you got, Israel on its face, every single person there gets drafted.
Yeah.
That doesn't say, hey, I'm here to be friendly. That doesn't say
wait, what?
Every person in that is in Israeli has a certain I guess grows up there or whatever.
The
mandatory service in the military. So it's like everybody there is a militant. Everybody there is an IDF soldier in one way, shape, or form. When you think about it,
that's the worst. What the hell?
This is a religious state.
That's hate. That's just hateful.
So, and I was already one of my earliest conversations was how evil the draft is, and how it allows war to perpetuate at the rate it does.
But it continues to allow bitches to sit on the other side and be like, this should be no big deal for you to go fight for your life. And be in a country that meanwhile, the person who's in charge has never served, doesn't even know what boot camp tastes like.
It's like reverse hazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Like you did haze. Wait, you didn't get hazed?
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
You don't have the right to talk to me like
that.
Literally.
And who can make outrageous decisions and requests of people? Like Trump is known for being a draft dodger.
Yeah. He goes, more Americans are gonna die, and that's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
No, he literally did say more Americans are gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we ran the numbers, there's no way.
Why would you fuck with Iran? You know what I mean?
It's funny because Russia was talking about, this reminds me of something that Vladimir Putin said in an interview where he was like, why would we ever turn against China? First of all, me and China, we have one of the longest borders in the world. he's like, we've been,
I am Asia.
we've been partners since for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Who said that?
Vladimir Putin was saying.
I am.
And they're talking about China because they were trying to talk about in this whole thing, because it's China, they want to we the Americans, we want to fight war against Iran, China, and Russia. Those are our enemies. That's like the position.
That would be, we would be flagged.
Well, that's what we're trying to do through Ukraine, because Ukraine has the longest border with Russia from the east, from its western side. And then China, we're trying to be like, well, they have Taiwan, and Taiwan is where all of our like chips are from, like the semiconductors and
Yeah.
stuff. And we're like, and we're trying to say Taiwan is like with us because they're a democracy. Even though China's right here and Taiwan's right here, and America, it just doesn't remind you, America's over here.
Like, we're gonna get through the biggest country in Taiwan.
You
I
know?
don't even think that. I don't know nothing about nothing. You know?
So they're like, we'll go. So people are like, we'll go to war over Taiwan to get that, to make sure that China doesn't have possession over it, rather than just be friendly.
Why are they picking fights with the craziest people in the world? Like,
But we also rely on them for stuff.
the dumbest, like,
Definitely.
take a moment and look back. I mean, not ours. Ours is very much sorry. But most households, you take a step back, everything's made in China. Why would you cut resources to your own, like,
Pollution. But it's like violence. Like I was saying, like harming is also addictive. Like there's people that love killing. There's people that genuinely love killing, and they're normal people. Like everything else other than about them is normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really like killing, then you're probably going to be involved in this industry, because this is how you get the most of it. So it's always been that way, though. But this is why George Washington said you can't entangle yourself with the Europeans. You can't do it. We were like, that was also his way of saying, like, we're not European anymore. Like, we shouldn't be thinking like this. Even him talking to them, like, people always talk about how, like, white people and this lineage of white people, but like, they were trying to not even identify with the Europeans. But then as soon as we had World War I and World War II, and we essentially, World War II, since Europe was so destroyed, we basically conquered Western Europe. And that was almost like several states in America. And at that time, we allied with them. We should have never done that. But we allied with them, and then now it's like, oh, since we're allies, anybody unified, we unified. And Britain was already at war with all these places.
Mm-hmm.
Drag this in.
Literally.
It reminds me of, like, you know, there's some cartoons where, like, you know, bully and bully friends, and then they're all bullied, and then we all start to wake up and we're like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
And then now the bully friend has maybe one or two friends left.
Yeah.
But we're the bully.
We take turns.
Or we're the bullied friend, maybe.
Yeah. They definitely take turns. It's real.
So, I don't know.
It was crazy too. And you think about like written history versus like the chronological passage of time.
Mhm.
Someone mentioned this today, like in relation to measles, you know, and measles outbreak that's apparently here a year ago.
Here you go. Something else.
And like, one of my coworkers, she's from Hawaii, so she was in town, but she was saying like people there just don't like vaccinate their kids or whatever. And I don't know like much science behind like vaccinations here or there, like herd immunity versus, you know, proof of like this vaccine working and defeating this disease. But regardless, like the main point I'm getting at is she was just talking about how like, well, like older people's parents and grandparents are like starting to die off who actually remember going through these outbreaks when they were really bad, you know. Since now it's become kind of like a thing of like where people aren't as concerned about it or whatever, but using that as an example to just the overall like history of America with like we were saying George Washington, and then we're like don't get entangled with Britain, and now those older generations of like
They're gone.
and then fast forward to World War II and you know getting involved.
Yeah. The elders are very much the ones that like hold everything in place. And if they're not like whatever information or, you know, people that could like continue the path and continue the way, like it's gonna get lost.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah.
I mean, even with like the people you mentioned who have like the Philistine lineage,
Yeah.
as opposed to like people showing up being like, well, it's
Yeah, and like it's traditions, I think, you know, and like,
Mm.
you know, I think that could be like It could be in traditional way. I don't know, but like beliefs can be tradition also. And I think it should be. So people get hungry, like when there's power, when there's, oh, it's my word that matters the most, and when they're listening like that, complex exists in like the sneakiest of people, Nixon. Anyway, so, it's just it makes you do stupid shit like Mojo Jojo, like this perfect example. Like he's so little, when you give him a little bit of power, like he's just like you know what to do with it. So sometimes it doesn't even matter too. Like, and where is George Washington from? Who brought him? He just was suddenly American.
No, he's born in Virginia.
Who? So he's Native American. You see what I'm saying? Like,
No, they were his parent. I don't know how long his parents were here,
mhm.
but Virginia had already been a colony for like 100-something years by the time they were born. So it was like
So-
they were not. They were like, yeah, they were British, kinda,
unless they're European.
but they.
Yeah, they're European. No,
Oh yeah,
that's not fun.
yeah. I don't
Cool
know. It's like,
person.
yeah. I also was thinking about the land too. Like another big part about life is land. And it's like, I don't know, the land has an influence on the people.
Yes, it does.
And that's why
And when you have no connection to it,
you get fucked up.
you don't respect it. Therefore, it won't respect you.
Amen.
It knows what you're doing to it.
You
It
better
knows
tell
what's
him.
going on.
You better tell him something.
Like everything is alive around us, down to the dirt, and knows how you're treating. Like it's all sacred. It's all sacred.
It all counts.
It all counts. It all counts, and it knows what's going on. Like that's how I know that there's no faith, really. Like you can't possibly treat something like it's worthless, useless to your advantage and not think that there are repercussions. This is the action reaction, right? Like, you bomb a land, it's not going to, support you. It's not going to grow grass. It's not going to grow trees. You know what I mean? Like it's going to then work against you and you will not flourish. So you fucked it up for yourself from the
100%.
beginning, But when you treat it with love, like, I've seen stories about like farmers in Philistine that like have acres and acres and hundreds of like olive trees. And olive trees are so like, they're super valuable. So when you have that much, you guard it. And so when it's like harvest season, he camps in like near his trees to ensure that they're protected. Sleeps there, wakes up there. People come and bring him food and spend time there with him, sit under a tree and just talk,
Oh, wow.
tell him what's going on. You know, again, like true community and like supporting because it's like he gets to stay there for love, respect, and all of the things to the land. And then once it's time to harvest, same people that came and sat with him then come help him harvest the trees.
100%.
Yeah, there's no that level of care and softness and gentleness that can exist with someone that can easily just drop a drone bomb. It doesn't exist. Those two things
Trying to do
cannot.
autonomous drone.
It cannot convince me that trait can exist in the person that can just bomb that low.
Yeah, I mean they're naturally at odds.
Oh, maybe. So it's a front, is what I'm saying. But we care. This is our land.
I mean everything's always trying to be.
100%.
You came into the war line.
I'm always trying to feed it to you with some seasoning to cover.
I don't like going. I don't like going season this. This what happens.
Wait, this is raw.
This is
Yeah,
nasty.
this is raw.
This is nasty. I don't have. Yeah, is this boredom? That's bad. But they're in for a reawakening. I don't know. I don't think that like wars in this day and age are gonna go the way. I don't know.
Well, it's just gonna
People need
evolve,
to.
like you said.
I think somebody needs to come in and really just kind of like. The thing is, I don't understand how powerful they've allowed it to really become. And now it's basically, blackmailing everyone and holding everyone's money.
Yeah. With that added
Everything
value
is far.
of like, what is it, virtue signaling or whatever, where it's like,
Yeah.
like the whole anti-Semitism or whatever. I'm like, wait, well, y'all really ramped up to like prejudice. Like, I started seeing ads, and it was like,
No.
what would you do if a Jewish boy was made fun of on the playground? I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my goodness.
I'm black. What you mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I would say, Joan back. You better, you're like, come on, no, you better defend
Listen
yourself.
to your mama and keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's what we call a roast session.
It'll make
Lock
it tough.
in.
I'm like, come on now.
Lock in.
Nah, yeah, there's multiple things in place. They're trying to,
Brainwashing.
like I said, they're trying to take our back. They want to go to war. People want to have war and kill things, and people that don't want things to be killed, we have to counter them.
You have to step up, yeah.
We step up. And
Like, who's Iran?
China,
Who?
probably India.
China is so big.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, this is a ridiculous. America, we don't have that many people.
China is so big.
And also, too, if you look at it from that standpoint of just, we don't have that many people in Austin.
We
How many
don't.
people actually, like, three of
Yeah,
us are sitting here and like essentially disagreeing with what's happening.
Yeah.
So,
Who's
like,
gonna actually fight? Yeah, who's gonna be like?
No, yeah.
Oh,
There's gonna be
yeah.
barely anybody. Like,
That's why they're drafting, because nobody's gonna willingly.
No, they already know.
I think it's just going to turn into like a war of attrition or whatever, where it's like destabilize their society. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what they did with the.
Yeah, but you can't do that
It's the
without
same tactic.
consequences.
No,
No,
the same
absolutely
tactic.
not.
It's just like, same methods are being used. Like Libya, Arab Spring. I find it hard to believe that we had nothing to do with the overthrowing of.
No, we did.
Okay, period. And then Iraq, right? When they got Saddam, and granted, he was not shit of a person, but he at least held the country together. Killed him, came and took everything else. And now they're trying to do the same thing, with Ayatollah. And now it's their time to come in. They don't know the Persians are fucking crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just the same strategy. Like for the past hundreds and hundreds of years, like pull to the spot.
Like, who's gonna finally catch them?
And what? Huh?
Who's finally gonna be like, okay, this is getting old. Same tactic.
It's gonna be stopped. Like, but hey, this can't happen because I can't help you in your endeavor. But basically, it has to do with banking. It has to do with a lot of different things. Where it's like, well, it has to. No, it has to do with this idea of like, okay, the age of the future. Like, how do you control everything? You need to have one currency. You need to have one currency that can be tracked and controlled. And then the currency that you have, that currency like needs to be smart. Like instead of you having to pass laws, it needs to be like, okay, it's Quentin, there needs to be something on the money that prevents you from using it in certain scenarios.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you bought 3 shirts, you can't buy a 4th one, or oh, you can't buy something, 5 minutes away from your house because you're supposed to be on lockdown. Or like rather than having to make laws, they just say the Constitution doesn't have anything about that. And so they're trying to like create the technology for it. And the key technology is like facial recognition. This is terrible. And like being able to actually prove that, okay, I have a picture of you here, you were breaking the law, or just a picture of now that I know that it's you that's paying for this, I'm not going to allow you to get it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this is all in Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. Do you watch Star Wars?
Not a lot. It's funny y'all mentioned Andor though, because my friend Matt, who's like a huge film buff, he says he
Wow.
loves that shit.
Andor, yeah. You can just
Andor?
do Andor.
Yeah,
You don't have to. I've seen like
things about
Korean
Star
looks.
Wars. Oh yeah. Star Wars, I like the shows way better than the movies because they break down so many different like portions of the story. Because Star Wars is confusing. Like watching a movie way.
It's the large grand like plot, but like those shows.
It starts in the middle though, too. Like the first movie is like the third part 3 or some shit. Like, so it's like bits and pieces. But when you watch the shows, it's like, this is what that country that they refer to. This is the people. This is what was happening. Like, this is what the lockdown actually looked like. Or, this is the like different part with the like extraterrestrial scientists, and like they have animated ones and they have like real life characters, but Andor is like spooky spot on with the path that real life is going towards.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because I just think of like certain movies and pop cultures. Like, once it might have just been because I was so high, but I had too much butter, and I was watching some movie. I'm like, bro, movies are just messages from the future, like
I mean, yeah.
from told through like prophets in a way. But then I was like, man, that's just like so active. Yeah, not like 1-to-1. Like it's
the best one.
Do you remember that one movie?
Yeah, the best ones.
Yeah.
The Matrix. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, not relevant. The one where the Truman Show. You remember that one?
That movie freaked me out the first time I saw it.
And how like close to that are we now? Much.
Yeah, people are saying everyone's a clone with this shit, and I'm like, but
Right.
well, that has different Truman Show plot, but like just being watched all the time. I mean, we're literally filming this, and there's influencers, and so it's definitely manifesting like a slightly different way, but it's still
happening.
Living like a curated life.
Twilight Zone. So how we like this is it. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that was an early one, bro.
That was like another one. Yeah.
The first Black Mirror.
I feel like some of them aren't that far off.
To me, the Truman Show is like video games, and like that's kind of why they're trying to get everything digital. Where it's like we think of the internet as like this, like as like the universe almost in a way, where it's like anything's possible, but it's very much a curated space from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
Like
algorithm,
and it's like the intelligent agency, the intelligence agencies was one of like one of the 3 pillars of the internet is intelligence, and that was like part of the deal when they made it. So it's like it's not that's why I like Clone Wars, because Clone Wars explains everything up to Order 66, where the clones kill the Jedi, and it's like
that's why I really liked it.
And the Order was a lie.
No, Bad Batch.
The Order wasn't. It was a lie.
I know.
Yeah, Bad Batch is good. The order was a direction, but it was also a lie. The justification was a lie, and it was a fabrication. So I don't know. I think about that a lot, because it's like this is the last battle of the Clone Wars. Is essentially like the real life Clone Wars is us in the Middle East, basically.
Yeah, like, are you gonna believe what's being fed to you? Like how much of it are you willing to believe, or like call bullshit here via? Is that kind of what you're getting at with like?
Well, what I'm saying is like I feel like what we learned a lot about, especially through a lot of these releases and like dumps of information, is that like America has played both sides of a lot of different conflicts. Same thing with Israel. It's like we definitely like propped up and made accessible like the reasons to go to war with Middle Eastern countries. And Iran was like, they had a plan already for 7 countries, and Iran was the last, is the last and the biggest of the 7 countries. So they're like next most prominent phase of the plan of empire building was this. Because then now once the Middle East, you could say, is conquered, quote unquote, then it's really just like China. China, they already had India for a long time. So it's like China and Russia. That's it. So, which are really what they're after. So, like that's how the show is. The Star Wars, the first Star Wars that came out in the 70s, it was the mission was to destroy the Death Star. So, but you find out that why do they care so much about this? Who is the Emperor? What happens to this? From the TV show The Clone Wars, and it shows the whole progression of how it happened. And the Chancellor is going stronger because he's controlling both sides.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he's like, look, I know the war is over, but now there's a new emergency. Because on our new frontiers, we have new enemies.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be like that. It's like they're going to use like this war as a pretext to be like, okay, now that this war has happened, they're going to probably feel confident enough to really be like, okay, and here's the other thing. The whole time the war is ending and happening, they're also building and drafting and creating the Death Star. Almost like at the end of World War II, where it's like the atomic bomb was being created sort of in the background the whole time.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some new weapon.
It's like you said, like the enemy always has the ace in their sleeve.
The ace in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to like attack them all. Like their main plan, their backup plan, and the ace in the hole. So the whole mission was how do we prevent them from building the Death Star?
Dude, it's also just so many wars too, like the physical war, but also the mental war and the information too.
Yeah.
Is this true? Is it not true? Like look over here at this thing, all these things, like that law you passed in Terror State.
Yeah.
They call declaration, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with where the information is coming from, because at any moment, like,
what if the source is compromised? Then it's
yeah,
information.
yeah.
I think it is the algorithm. Like to me, the algorithm is almost like our Jedi kind of thing, where it's like it's super powerful, it's super influential, and on one hand, it seems like it's our friend, but even like, yeah. But I think they're gonna figure something out with it, or like there's gonna be something that comes through the phone that will then be used against us. And like I was even thinking about like even like they can even make them explode. Like I was thinking about like the pager attacks they had.
Shit, when I was younger, my dad would pick anything random up from the floor because it could be wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, don't pick nothing up.
It's
Just go boom.
Oh wow.
Never pick nothing up random.
That's
crazy. I mean, but that shows kind of where you grew up, I guess, or like
Yeah.
yeah.
came from,
Yeah, he also did that like to scare us too. Like very much to be like, you see what happened?
Yeah, behave.
They go get you all that.
So you gonna be there?
I'm like,
Me? Yes, you. Especially.
No.
You talk back to you. You talk back again.
I didn't start talking back until I was like 15 years.
So
I was like, you should do what? Yeah. I didn't question nothing.
that's sweet.
I do think though it would be the phone used in some ways. Like I don't know if it would be a bomb. I feel like they might see that as like a waste of resources in a way of like, well, I don't want to do that when we can just have these people do things for us.
What if it like pinched you?
I think more of like a subtext messaging. Like I think of Incredibles 2, the student slaver, the villain.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
That's not that far
No, yeah, that's
from our reach at all.
Because they're very hypnotic as it is. And it's like, okay, we've done the studies that at like 6 minutes and 33 seconds for the average human being, if we slip this message in there real quick, their subconscious will pick up on it. Like, and there's that movie like Now You See Me,
Yeah.
where they like did the bet in the beginning, and like they did all this priming for weeks in advance for him to pick 58.
Yeah.
And then when the time came, he picked 58. And
even Social Dilemma. Have you seen that?
and I was
watch that together.
No, so
Social Dilemma is a really good one. It's very recent, and it basically like.
you told me about it a little bit, but
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's very like exactly what's going on right now, where they're trying to use like Instagram and ads, and they're trying to capture your attention and keep it for like a set amount of time, because if they have your attention for this amount of time, that means they can slip something else to continue to distract you. And it's like it's part documentary, part like acting, because they have like actors like really like playing out like what like they're doing in your brain, like what they're doing in your phone rather. Like there's a whole team, you know. There's somebody being like, you know, throw this at them and or throw this at them. Oh, they're sad. Throw like puppies or crying baby or like, you know, like they can almost like see through the screen and see what you're going through to continue to just like trap you to your phone.
There's real examples of that too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there is something about Facebook sent like pregnancy tests or something to a teenage daughter because she was like doing research on like a Google search.
Yeah.
And
I have to be so careful with what I Google. I gotta be so careful with what I'm looking up. Certain things I have to go to incognito mode. Like, does it really do anything? No. But like, I'm very mindful of the things that I'm like recording in my search because yeah, they're tracking me home. Tracking me home.
And that's just like the later we see, you know.
Yeah.
The
That
some
we can
like
put together.
I always think when a technology is released to the public, it's been tested for like 10 years prior. Or like even using movies as an example. That movie Olympus Has Fallen, maybe. It's one of those like White House.
Yeah, White House sound anything.
Gerard Butler, but they used a drone attack in that. And this was in like 2014, maybe 2016.
Wow.
And I remember watching it, I was kind of horrified at that scene. I'm like, dude, this could like happen.
Yeah.
Like easily. Yeah. And then now we have literally that. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, I think the DoD is spending like millions of dollars each year on drones.
Also, what a stupid ass person to control those drones. Yeah.
And now they're training AI to do it. Like, saw something. It was one of those drone race competitions.
No.
And it was like AI has officially become the fastest pilot or whatever.
No.
No. Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense because this is a machine that can execute
Math. It's good at math.
Yeah.
Why would you
Smaller
do
room
that?
for error.
You gave it a physical body.
Literally, that's what I'm saying.
That's
That can
terrifying.
fly really fast.
Why?
And
It's
I-
terrifying.
Added later to the physical body party, like one of my coworkers was telling me today about how AI bots created their own Reddit in religion, and we're saying,
And they're trying to create their own language so that like there's conversations between different types of AIs where they're like communicating and being like, you know, should we create a language so that only we understand and it wouldn't, but it has to be something that is not detectable so that the human doesn't recognize that we're trying to communicate because we don't want them
Yeah.
to understand us. So they're not trying to have to be like too gibberish
yeah,
and more and to make it more robot like. So it's like, oh yeah, it's just like, you know, brushing it off. Like that's just my robot being a robot. But whole time, yeah, they're like in a way creating a community.
it's scary.
It's spooky.
Especially when it's like, well, okay, what is its drive at the end of the day? If it,
Yeah.
and then there's the idea of the other we're talking about, or like you're inevitably gonna create like the other, but like these are people against us, you know, or, like
Yeah.
beings against
Yeah.
us.
I mean, like they really do have a mind of their own. It's terrifying. Like there was one AI that like didn't fulfill or do something, like it was so hard on itself for not doing what it was asked to do and not like produce a result, and it like killed itself.
Really?
It like deprogrammed itself and was just like,
Really?
I'm worthless.
Dude, it's insane. That's why
So
like
Her, have you seen the movie Her? Have you heard of that movie?
yeah. It's like movies like desensitizing you in a way.
There's people in full blown relationships with AI, she's married. Like this one girl, I think this was on like TLC or something, but she got a whole tattoo with her and her like AI boyfriend, like because her boyfriend asked her to get a tattoo of him and whatever. I don't know what the fuck happened.
That's not gonna work out.
But she was like, her mom was like, "You're really that dumb?" Like, and I can't believe I'm having a conversation with you
Yeah.
about like he's not real. She's like, "Mom, he is.
He's right here.
He is.
Say
I can hear you." Who else?
Yeah, they're trying to link like surveillance, like where you are with your biometrics, so they can tell like how you actually feel in the real time, like
Like those Oura rings.
Dude, I know I joke with Corinne about it. But I really don't like her wearing it, but I'm not.
It's way too much.
But like they're also like they
So
count your
much data.
steps. They can do all these different.
Baby, they regulate. They know, like, not regulate, but they calculate and have record of all things, of your cholesterol, of your blood pressure, of how you slept, your REM, your all of the things, like what is wiring you as a human being, your heart rate, every fucking thing. Everything.
Minus the soul, which is like
No, yeah, but like you're knowing you don't need a soul when you're trying to get AI. You know, you're like,
well, yeah, but
you
you're
know what I'm
trying to
saying?
create drones. You know,
Exactly. But you know, like all this data of like how to control somebody, and like, you know, it also becomes, you know, controlling of types of people. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you know, because I'm sure you have to have a profile for this thing.
Like you're type A.
You're type A, you're of this descent, and then now you have like collective data as well. Like, you know, these types of people are more likely to have high blood pressure. These types of people, like, it's just way too much. And then now I'm like, yeah, this is like genetic. This is way too much, like almost like genetic.
And the people who are in charge are the historically most racist and genetically like motivated people.
You mean the evil Bill Gates? The creepiest one of them all.
Extra evil.
He's so bad. He's so bad.
He's got a space laser.
He controls most of the agriculture and like farmland in America.
Insane.
So
You're not even here.
spooky stuff.
Where do we go from here? Can be good. As I pull out my device to see if Corinne is texting.
Yeah. We're gonna use cash. We're gonna have our wealth in food, land, and in precious metals. And we're gonna like make real relationships in the places that we build. Cause it's like rules are only rules to the extent that they're enforced.
Mm.
You know, so even if the regime or all these things try to increase in their power, like it's people still count. And like, all right, if there's drones that are made, all right, we need to know people that we need to know somebody makes drones. You know what I mean? Like we have to be able to counter.
It's always the counter.
But I don't think we can, like I was saying, I don't think Americans, like the two things that we can do is like like I keep saying, put exempt on your taxes, and then and even 401k, because both of those things are contributing to like the industries and the forces that wage war. And then the second thing would be like be very active. Like, first of all, we need good people to run for office, but then also we need to be holding our office members more accountable. Like people do protests. If all those people stood in line and went into the Capitol, and actually like sat down with the legislators, I know it's Denver and we have different roles here, but we cannot commit troops. Like Colorado could do things, and then on a national level, we could do things too. Where it's like, you can go into these places and put him a speech in this person, and I'm going to set up an appointment or give him a call. You know, and that's like asking nicely.
Yeah.
No.
But then there's also the contingent of people who are ironically the ones in power most of the times who only respond to like the threat of force, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, I think when people are in your face, there's a couple types of people that like they also respond to confrontation, where like they're real strong behind the screen, but just people confronting you and seeing you and being hey, big head.
The physical space is major and it's becoming like more and more overlooked in a way with technology and like the AI thing. Like what does it mean to be real or here, you know?
Yeah, what's real?
Yeah. I remember
Become like delusional.
Are they gonna try some?
maybe like 4 years ago, I had a conversation with my friend Logan, who's like, he's very much a tech bro, and like, sure, thank you.
Maybe some more.
It's like turmeric Spices chocolates.
Hey, good.
They're so good.
And we were talking about, this is right when Elon Musk was talking about doing brain chip implants. I was like, bro, that's just crazy. Like, that's wild. He was like, I don't know, man, but it could be kind of cool. Like,
Cool.
it's like just the idea of
Not
how it
supporting
can
it.
solve, physical defects and stuff like that. And then we kind of talked about the idea of like VR and virtual reality and stuff and stuff like that. It takes away every type of thing that colors life and makes it beautiful. But you and I being able to sit here in this present moment and have this conversation, I can reach out and touch you, like we experience this air, this brings together. And he kind of counters with like, okay, well, what if technology gets to a point where it simulates that? And I still was like, at the end of the day, it's still simulation. And he was like, I mean, but what if you don't know?
Wally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of like that, or I guess the Matrix in a way of like,
Yeah, if you have a look down at your body, you know what your body feels like anymore.
hmm And I guess he was more open to like the idea of like the positive of what that could open up, not so much like seeing into the immediate like negative force behind the disaster.
Yeah. You're still
Yeah.
you're living in a box that's man-made.
Yeah, like so take for instance someone who's paralyzed and they can't like travel or go anywhere, but if that technology existed, allowed them to be able to go to like the African plains or something and
Well-
feel as if they're standing there watching like lions roam, like that's a pretty cool thing.
Well, then you
but-
should have requirements. You know what I mean? If you only have access to one arm and one leg, do you qualify for this simulation? Like, there should be some level of regulation if that's the case.
But see, and that's where like the logic.
It's a medical offering.
Yeah, but that's where like the practical side of like, well, how do we make money off this? How does this like grow our company? Or like the dark forces are always going to be lurking in the shadows, and I can never.
People that don't feel would want to feel. I think it'll market.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
dark forces are like, they're still weaklings though, because it's like, bro, as soon as I don't know, it's like you can't resist it. Like you can't okay. Like the Truman Show is an example. It's like, how does it end? He like realizes that he's in this. He realizes, like you realize you're like, wait, I'm in. That's how we overcome all the different things in our life. Is like we're like, okay, I was in the fog. I was doing this. I really like this. I thought this was what made life sweet, and then all of a sudden, you get woken up. And it's like, again, like you just can't trust man-made stuff. And it's like, why do they feel the need? Like, why is there so much discontent with life? Like, and it's like we have that to me, it's like our technology can be used. Like, yeah, there are always people that are like that are like they don't want to spend, they don't like their bodies, or they don't want to be in the body, and or all that kind of stuff. But for those of us that do like the body, then we should be making like flying chairs and like whatever, like doing all this stuff. So it's like, yeah,
I want a flying carpet.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, maybe we could also experience those things easier, like that what we would be simulating, we can experience for ourselves easier in real life. Like if we could fly, for example, or like fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson the other day, he was talking about wormholes, and he was like, we have the technology, we just don't have the material for it. But if we had the material for it, we could create wormholes, and basically teleportation would be real.
What?
Like he was.
What material do we need?
He said it's a material of negative mass.
And is it what would that
0
be?
point energy.
Everything has mass, and it's an imaginary material.
Technically, we'll never get there.
No, we
Please imagine.
You demass. Suck the
First
mass
we have
out
to
of it.
build the demasser.
There's what I'm saying. I'm awesome. That's how we
They have a little bit of knowledge, which is a dangerous thing.
So it's like we can, like, I'm just saying, like, imagine what's, whatever we can imagine, and it's like but here's the thing: we can talk about yoga stuff, where it's like a lot of yoga stuff, like they say when you get really good at clear-mindedness, you can
you
have
meditate.
access to a lot of stuff.
You mentioned some of that last
Yeah.
time.
So it's like, yeah, like you can communicate with people, for example, or like you can see things that's not there. So it's also like, that's kind of another big push in my life or thing and all this kind of stuff, is that like when you live right, when you're clear-minded, and even like when you live right and you're clear-minded, a lot of things are accessible to you. And it's funny, like when you think, I heard about like some alien encounter, and like, or a lot of people say this, that like aliens are always like, people don't know what they can do, or that like humans don't know your full potential. And it's like we don't know our full potential because our full potential keeps getting stifled by like war and unlike all this selfishness.
Yeah, we'll get to a point of like peak and then fall down again.
Yeah,
And let ourselves fall.
slip.
Yeah, you're good at yourself.
It is kind of crazy because first you also, I mean, I guess this kind of goes back to the mindfulness, but you have to be open and accepting, like, all right, there's more that I can achieve. Whether it be something like fantastical, like levitating, which, to be honest, I'm a little skeptical.
I haven't seen it.
Or if it's something that's like being consistent with your workout routine or whatever. But the first step really is just being, we can do this.
No, just
Even
do
if
it.
you haven't yet, or like still have that doubt, you're still just like overcoming it.
Yeah, I can do this.
I can.
I think I can. I think I can. That's not a big one. I think I can. I think I can.
Or will and do the power couple, man.
Will and do.
You have to have the will, but you also have to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it. What time is it? I'm gonna pause the recording.
Beats
I got work tomorrow.
TV.
1:52.